G'day everyone from down under. It's a lovely morning here today. I think spring's starting to hit a little bit early, even though we've got a couple of weeks left until spring starts here. September. It's I noticed yesterday all the flowers are out, so I can't wait to do some shoots amongst all the apple trees and stuff that we've got here. Bacchus Marsh is famous where I live for its apples. And it's just stunning to be here in spring. So I'm looking forward to doing some models in amongst all the spring flowering blossoms. So I can't wait for that. But that's not what this is about today. This is going to be about a little bit of gas. I bought something yesterday, and I can't believe how quickly it actually came. It came this morning, and I had to purchase it from Sydney. There was nothing available locally here in Melbourne, so I had to purchase it from Sydney, which is a fair way. It's around 700 kilometres away. But anyway, it arrived this morning. So wow, what great service. That was. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to show you basically what it is. So I've just started to undo the box to make sure it was the right thing that I'm going to show you, but it is, so it's good. Now, once I start unboxing it, I'll bring up the chat too, and we can have a chat through there, because I'd love to have a chat with you and answer some questions and stuff as well. We'll make that a little bit of chat time that we can go through stuff as well. So what have I got? So are you excited? I don't know if I'll show you. All as photographers, gas is shocking. It's terrible. All right, so let's have a look. I'm just going to have a look first. Let me come over to the questions, because I want to just see if anyone's... Have a guess. Let's see if anyone can have a guess to see what I bought. I'm just having a look here about the people that are in here. We've got Ben, Lucid, Vic, Three Trees is here. Jim's Photos is here. Tag the Shooter's here. We've got Lucid, Kentucky Fried Walrus. I love that name. Vic says the 85 1.8. He's going to get that tomorrow. What a great lens that 85 Sony is, a 1.8 lens. For the price of that lens, it is unbelievable what it is. If I didn't have the baddest, I would be buying that lens. Tag the Shooter said, not as exciting as my week. I've been shooting with my new 100 to 400 and the 16 to 35. Whoa, what a great setup that is. Yeah, well, that's jealous. That is gas. They're two amazing lenses. I wish I had those, actually, especially the 100 to 400. I may get that one day. The 16 to 35 2.8, I don't think I'll get, because I like the F4 version, but that's just me. Clearly, though, that the GM version is better than that. Lucid said, laugh out loud, that's like 10K in cameras. Lucid's got the A6500. I love the A6500, probably still my favourite all-around camera. Lucid's guessing it's lights. Tag the Shooter said, you've got an LED light. And Stuart said, evening from the Gulf Breeze, Florida. And Three Trees said 16 to 35 2.8. And Ben said, Ben's a local photographer down here with me. He said, new tripod head. No, I don't need a new tripod head, Ben. All right, so let's have a look. So I'm going to cut down to the other camera, and we'll have a look what I've got. Tag the Shooter said, yeah, I'm selling the 16 to 35 f4, loved it, but got to go. Yeah, there's no point having both if you've got the 2.8 version. I wouldn't be having both either. Okay, let's have a look. So we'll go down to here. And I wonder if I can add a second camera in here. Oh, no, I'll just do it anyway. So we'll have a look. All right, so what have I got? I just opened the backpack to this morning. Are you ready? Don't get too excited. So this might give you a hint. Well, I think this is a power cable. I wasn't expecting this to come, because it wasn't part of the package, but it's a power cable to come. And if we look here, this might give you a hint. There's a little glass screen protector that we've got here. It's a 5-inch glass screen protector. So does anyone want to guess now basically what I've got? Give me some ideas. We've got... I can't pronounce that name. Attila, I'll just say Attila. Hi from Sweden. It's 3 a.m. My God, why aren't you in bed? So that's the one thing that we've got here. All right, so you ready? Woohoo! Just let me turn around there. Woohoo! How exciting is this? Now I'm going to see if I can get... Just let me see if I can add a window in this. So bear with me just while I change this template. So picture lower right. Because I'm going to see if I can bring my ugly face on for you guys. And then you can actually see me while we're actually talking, so I think it'd be much better. All right, so let me make this one. This. 1, 2, And then let me make this one. I think it's this. Oh, look at that. How much better is that? Let me just take this back and scale this back a little bit. Bring it up a little bit. All right, now we're cooking with gas. I'll just turn this volume down a little bit. All right, so SmallHD. Three Trees has said awesome. Jim said awesome. Kentucky Fried War said boom, I got it. I know, I can't wait to have a look at this actually. Three Trees says, oh yeah, I was looking at getting one of those. Lucid said light or a screen. Well, I'm going to show you. So let's have a look. So obviously there's a screen protector there. Now, I've bought the Panasonic version. There's a reason why I bought the Panasonic version. The Sony version's not in stock. Now, they all work the same. It's just all you do is you get a different lead and a different battery adapter. Now, I've ordered the Sony battery adapter for this, and I've also ordered the Sony lead to connect it because I want to be using this with my A6500 as well. So I'm going to be using this with the GH5 and my A6500. So I have bought the Panasonic version, but I've ordered the Sony stuff, which is back ordered. So I've got to wait for that. Which I think obviously so many people with Sony cameras are buying them that you just can't get these in the stock. So it's cheaper to get the kit because the kit itself I think is only around about $100 dearer. But in the kit you get you get a battery which I think is worth $100 in its own, this Anton Bauer battery. You get the charger, you get a battery pack which goes into your camera because you can charge your camera from this as well. So it uses the same battery to power your camera as well as the screen, which is the best thing, and that's why I really want this for my A6500. And you also get this little monitor arm that goes up as well, and you get a HDMI cable to connect the screen to your camera. But just for the battery alone and this other battery that connects into your camera, it's worthwhile to get a kit if you're going to get one. Oh, I think I've got a... Thanks, mate. Thanks for that. That was a bit stupid of me. I'll just go over that again. It should be right now. Yeah, I was just saying the kit that you actually get here, you get the Anton Bauer battery and also the a battery charger, plus you get this internal battery as well that you can sort of see here. Now that's worth $100 in itself, so even though you're paying $100 extra for the kit, it's worth it just to get these extra features that enable you to charge your camera, run your camera as well as using the HD monitor. So it's a much cheaper way to go. So let's open it up anyway and we'll have a look. Like I said, I got the Panasonic version because the Sony version was out of stock. But I have ordered the Sony bits to this. Is it right now, Three Trees? Just let me know that it's okay now. It should be okay now. Alright, so I won't throw it away, but we'll have a look. So is my screen working okay now? Just let me know it is fine, guys. I think it seems to be working all right. Because Three Trees just said, just check your feed. Yeah, all good. Beautiful. All right, so it says you have chosen wisely. Thank you. So let's have a look. I'll have a look at this one first. So in here, there's all the little bits and pieces. So this is all the actual kit part that comes into it. So obviously you've got, this is the best part about using this system. Let me just turn up the light a little bit. This is the best part about this because you use a dummy battery. Now, where this will be, it's not so big a deal with the Panasonic GH5, but definitely for the Sony. So if I'm using this on my A6500 or the A7R2, having the dummy battery running off this battery is going to be a major thing because you get around about 2.5 hours of running time of the actual screen and running your camera with 4K video recording. So when I'm using my A6500 at the moment, you get about an hour recording with the internal battery using 4K, whereas this will give me about 2.5 hours. So it's much, much better to be running this battery with the monitor as well. So that's the reason why I think this is great. Like I said, I've got the Panasonic version, but I've ordered the Sony version of this, which will come, I think, in 2 weeks. It's put down as they must be hard to get. And I've also ordered the lead, which is different because it doesn't run full HDMI. This is for the Panasonic one. Obviously the Sony are using mini HDMI, so I've ordered that cable as well. But yeah, although it looks like it might even have one. I'll have to look at that, because perhaps it comes with one. Or that might be USB. Anyway, I'll have to check that. So they're the things that come with it. It comes with a little mount that goes on the side, and I won't show this all now because I'm not going to put it together with you, but we'll have a chat about it. But I'll show you when it's all set up on probably Thursday's live show with you guys. Three Trees said, I'm ordering one right now. And obviously there's a little HDMI adapter in there as well if you want to run the cable a bit wider. But now this arm is pretty amazing how this arm actually works. So it tilts the actual unit beautifully. You can run 360 degrees using the monitor. So you can, that's the beauty of this with the Sony cameras. You haven't got that full flip out screen. So I can stick this on top of my camera and then I'm going to be able to turn the screen towards me if I'm doing vlogging and things like that. So it's going to make a massive difference with shooting. The other thing too, the big advantage is these apparently are pretty good in daylight, whereas the Sony cameras dim when you shoot 4K. I think that's due to heat. So I'm not going to have that issue anymore using this setup. And the reason why I got this, I do have an Atmos Ninja as well, but that's 7-inch and it's really heavy. Like it's too heavy to lug around on the camera. So I don't like to use that for run and gun type work, whereas I think I'm going to be using this all the time in my photography. And videography, I should say. So what we'll do is we'll have a look at this. Ooh. It's very nice. So this is the size of it. Like it's really, really quite small. Obviously, you put your power into here. That will feed down to... Oh, no, that's actually a headphone. Now, that's another thing too. With your A6500, you have no headphone socket, which is a pain in the backside. So this is a headphone socket. Now, because HDMI can carry audio as well as video, you can monitor your audio with headphones from this unit as well. So this is a massive benefit if you're shooting with something like the Sony A6500, which has no headphone socket. Let me just check and see what some people are saying. I'm just going to scroll back to here. Three Trees Photography said he's ordering one right now. So they're putting in on some videos. Tag the Shooter said, be careful putting that on the hot shoe of an A9. Hot shoe, not as strong as on other Sony cameras. I'm not going to use them in the hot shoe. I think I'm going to use them in I'll probably won't do it with the A9. I don't think I'm going to be shooting video on the A9 much. The thing that I'm actually going to be doing this mostly with is my A6500. So, and I've got that on the cage. So if you're looking at it, you know, from here, I've got the cage on that already. So this is, just let me go full screen. So this is basically going to be mounted on the top here through this cage, and you'll sort of see it if we, you know, look like that. So it really is quite small. Like if we look at it, you know, it's not big, and it's actually incredibly light. Like when you look at it, it's really, really light. Like really, it feels like it's really nice plastic, but yeah, it's really good. Like there's points here where you can mount things into. There's another point on that side and one underneath as well. So there's 3 points that you can actually mount to. Your HDMI cable plugs into this little section in here, so it's sort of protected. Like I said, that's an audio socket that's in here that you can then put your headphones into, so you can monitor the audio, which is a great thing. I have been nervous sometimes when I've been using it and I can't monitor the audio. So I am glad that I'm going to have that feature available to me now on the A6500. And obviously there's a SD card slot here, because you can put LUTs and things like that into here, and you put LUTs in that way. You can also, I believe, you'll probably upgrade the firmware through that as well when they have new firmwares coming out. So yeah, but it's incredibly light. So that's the main reason. The battery, obviously, at the back just clicks on like that. Again, even with that battery on it, it is really light. Like, what a great unit. This is the problem with the Shogun that I've got, is that it's just way too big and too heavy. It's 7 inches, but it is a really heavy piece of kit, and that's why I never used it for run and gun. I bought that initially to do that, but you know, I'm not also worried about recording onto it. I'm happy just recording onto the cameras themselves. So, but yeah, what a great little unit. So let's just go back to some questions. Lucid said, is this 4K? Well, it'll display 4K footage. You can't record it onto it though. So it's not a recorder. It's just a HDMI monitor. Made of metal or plastic. So it's plastic, but it feels really, really nice. And I'm glad it's not metal actually, because it would make it a lot heavier. I don't want this to be heavy. What else are people saying? Yeah, waiting on a cage for the A9. Yeah, and then I probably would use it, but I'm not going to stick it in the hot shoe, that's for sure. Lucid, is this 4K? I've already answered that. That's a massive cage. Is that on the Sony a6500? It's not that big. If you're talking about that, it's not that big actually. It just looks big because it's up close, but it works really, really well on that a6500. That's a small rig cage. Who said that it was 3... Oh, yeah, 3 Trees said back-ordered 7 to 10 days for the Sony. That's the problem. That's why I couldn't get it. But because I'm going to be using it on both the Sony and the Panasonic, I've just bought the Panasonic kit, so now I'll be able to use it on both, so it's not really an issue anymore. Jim said, David, that battery size might keep you from full 60. No, that doesn't. That's the one, the original one on it. That's fine. I think that works. It's the larger one that doesn't work. There's a bigger battery that comes out that you haven't got the 360. I'm pretty sure this one enables you to do the 360. If not, you can order one that's a little bit smaller. So I'll have to check it and see how it goes once I put it on. But you can buy multiple different sizes of these batteries. So you don't have to have this size battery. Just see if it comes off. I think that's... What are these rated at? This one is rated at 4,400 AMH. This is the 774. But like I said, there's all different sizes of these, so you can get smaller ones. I've even got ones that are a lot bigger as well. So the benefit of using this too is it does go 360 degrees. It's got 800 nits, so it's really quite bright, and I believe you can see it okay outside. I'll have to try it and see myself. But it has all features in there like really good focus peaking. It's got all of your video tools like waveforms, all those scopes that you need. It's got that positive color or whatever you call it, where you can switch over and see that done. I mean, it's got everything on there that you could ever use. You can also swipe back and forth. When I get it set up, I'll show you because I'll do a review of it. But it has amazing features. If you're interested to see actually how it works, I'll try and put a link down below that'll take you to a video so you can see actually how it works. Mac Urav did a review on this too, and it seems to be really, really good. But I love how lightweight that this actually feels. It does feel really, really lightweight. Let me just go back to see what some people would say. Lucid said, will this work on a gimbal? It may on some, but you can mount this on the separate side. And like my gimbal that I use, the KMTV, you can mount it onto the side. So you'd have your gimbal here with the camera on it, and this would be mounted on the side. That's probably the way that I would do it if I was using it on a gimbal. That one camera guy said, you still have, I know, at that one camera guy, you still have the a6500. Yes, I definitely have the 6. Oh, the one camera guy's here. Hey, how you going, mate? How you going, Danny? Good to see you in here. False color, yeah, that's what it's also got in there, is false color. So like I said before, it's got all your wave forms, everything that you can use. Because now I'm starting to use a lot of flat profiles, they're really good to have all your waveforms and stuff in there, which is really, really good. The GH4 has that built in, but obviously the Sonys don't, so it's going to be interesting to use that on this monitor. And the great part is you can set up different things on this, so you just scroll across and you can have different features on all the different windows. So, you know, it's going to work really, really well. 3 Trees said, holy crap, 800 is bright. And that's the thing, it's meant to be viewable in daylight. So that's one of the main benefits of what I've been seeing about this little device. Lucid said, yes, I still have the a6500. Yeah, of course he does. Yes, he's got a few, a6000, a6300 and 6500, I think. Danny, you've got this anyway, haven't you? You're getting this later this week, I believe. I am DeBrown's here. Good to see you here, mate. He said, I have to be thankful for all you guys. Finally got my a6500 with the 10 to 18 f4. The 18 to 105 f4 and the 7200 f4 is on the way. Wow, what a great setup. You're going to love that setup. My favourite two lenses for the A6500 are the 18 to 105 and the 24 1.8. I love those lenses, but I do use a 70 to 200 on it too sometimes. It's amazing as well. Keith said 21 people here and only 5 thumbs up. Thanks, Keith. Alexander Kura said, how do you mount it to a gimbal? Well, you can buy devices that actually screw in on the side. So let me just see. I'll just grab one. Bear with me. These are the sort of things that I use. This is a Manfrotto. I'll see if you can see it if I bring it over. It's a Manfrotto, but basically you can get the little screws that actually attach onto, where are we? You can get little screws that attach onto that side. That can then screw into here or onto the side of your gimbal. Some of the gimbals that you have these screw mounting holes on, and then obviously that side will attach to the monitor, and you can do it that way. That's probably the way that I'll do it when I'm running on my gimbal. This is a heavy one, but you can buy cheap or very light plastic ones as well. So that's probably the way that I'd be doing it on your gimbals. I think if you're going to probably put this on the top of the gimbal, it may be a bit too heavy, so you would probably need some sort of mount. It's not that it's too heavy, but it will be very hard to balance, so it might be better to actually have a way of mounting it off the side. What else are people saying? I am DeBrown said, hey all, sorry, had one too many drinks tonight. So I may say some silly stuff. Go for it, mate. Get into it, Tony. I love it. I should start drinking. I should have a beer because it's daytime for me. I should be sitting here with beer. I'm going to do that in summer. Keith said, hit that thumb up button or I'll hunt you down. What else have we got? That one camera guy said, yeah, my small focus HD comes in on Friday. Oh, it looks nice, Danny. You're going to love it. Like, it's so light. It's beautiful. I'm going to play with this all day now. There's no editing happening today. This would be fantastic. I can't wait to start playing with it. Like I said, I wish I had my Sony stuff to connect it to the Sony cameras, but it'll come. I've just got to wait. I think it was a 2-week wait or some ridiculous thing. Francesco said, hi, David. What else we've got? Lucid said, do you think cameras in the future should have better screens, or is this providing that accessory market that is a much better note? Well, look, they will. The issue is, I think, and this is the issue with the A6500, I believe, that because these cameras, especially the Sony cameras, are so small, the second that the screen gets bright, you're going to have an overheating issue. So that's one of the problems with the Sonys. That's why if you're doing 4K, that screen dims immediately. And it dims so you can't view it. That's the problem with that. So, it becomes an issue with that. That's why the GH4 doesn't overheat, because it's got a much bigger body. So you're dealing with the body size here. If you want to be nice and compact like the Sonys are, they're amazing. There's some give and take that you have to give. And clearly the 4K side of it, if the screen stays bright, it's going to overheat, so they dim it. That's the only reason why I reckon that has to happen. And obviously, if you're going to have a screen that's this size, well, then the camera's going to be much bigger again. So I think 5 inches is probably the perfect. Like I said, my Shogun that I have is 7 inches, and that's probably a little bit too big. It's definitely too big to have run and gun type work that's out there. What else are we going to say? Atalia said, I'm going to start to drink. I will have one with you. No wonder it's 3:30 in the morning. You should be in bed. Keith Bailey said, I'm going to borrow that one camera guy SmallHD. I'm sure Danny will lend it to you. Take the Shooter said, how are you? That one camera guy been busy shooting all week. Amber Brown said, I need to get rid of my SmallHD AC7. Is that the 7-inch one, Tony? Is it? It probably is too big, but just sell it. Yeah, you probably still get pretty good money back for that. Ben Ashford said, do it, Dave. I'll buy you around. I know, I've got to start drinking some beer, I think. I'll be running off. I'll be dancing on the tables with you guys. Keith said, just post some of my portrait shots, wife, while I was in New York City. Oh, that'd be cool. I'd have to have a look. He's put it on Instagram. Just add me on Instagram, Keith, if you're not, and hopefully I can find you. I've got so many people on there. It's hard to find people sometimes, though. Jim said, in my own opinion, rescreen, someone will invent a totally flexible screen which has lower power draw and fold up and stow in a camera compartment. Well, they might, I mean, you don't know what's going to happen. They do have all these flexible screens now that you can actually have. Tag the Shooter said, I've got iCam 7 so light on sale. It's for $150. It's great. Oh, so he has got one on sale. But that's the main thing. I've been thinking about this for a while. I've really, like I said, I love using my A6500, but one of the most annoying things for me is that bloody screen. Why on earth don't they bring out a flip-out, fully articulating screen? I just can't understand Sony for doing that. It can't be that hard to change it. I swear, if they don't do it on the A6 7000, I'm not going to leave them because I love Sony. But I'll be pissed off. I'm telling you, pissed off means you're angry and Australian. So I'm really hoping that they'd bring that for the A6 700, 7000, whenever they bring it out. Surely they're going to start doing a fully flip-out screen. They have to. They've got to be competing with someone like the GH5. So I'm hoping that that's what comes out. Now, even though the GH5 still has that flip-out screen, it's a lot brighter than the Sony, but it's still not bright enough to use during the day, and that's why I wanted to get this. And like I said, because I'm shooting with a lot of the flat profiles now, the waveforms are really, really important. And even though the GH5 shows a waveform on the screen, it takes up nearly half of the screen, and it's hard then to see, whereas this, doesn't have that issue. And also the false color and everything is amazing for your exposure. And for focus, this is going to be really, really good as well. Lucid said, photos in the next year, I think I've already said that. So Keith said it's on Instagram already, and my name is the Panda Photographer. Have you friended me on Instagram, Keith? I have to have a look. Jim said, agree on the near term. I am DeBrown said, Bailey on your website or Facebook. Hi, David. Pissed off is a universal arc. Okay, so it is. Sometimes I say things like that, I'm worried it can offend people from other parts of the world. Like we say bastard here, and bastard is quite an endearing term. So, if I said to someone, a friend of mine, you're a bastard, it means I actually like him, and it's quite funny. But I think Americans, that's a totally different term. Like if I said you're a bastard, it means you haven't got both parents or something. So you've got to be careful sometimes what you say, but bastard is a real typical term that we say here in Australia to people, and it's very endearing. So it's quite funny. So if you ever hear me say bastard, I'm not angry about it. It's actually an endearing term. What else? So that's it. So let me know if you've got any questions, because I'd like to know if you think, would you be interested in this sort of thing? Let me know down below as well whether you think you'd be interested in using this type of thing on top of your camera. Once I have it set up, I'll show you how it all works. So I'll give you a review of how it all works for me. But I'm feeling like I am going to keep this on the video cameras when I'm doing weddings. I'll only be on one, but I might swap it between, like I said, the GH5 and the A6500, so that I have got a nicer monitor, because it is really, really, I'm not joking, it is really light. I don't think this is really going to add much weight at all to the camera. So it seems to be a really, really nice little unit, lovely made. So I can't wait to actually see it. So let's have a look at what some people are saying here. Francisco said, I'm really excited because I will replace my Alpha R with the A7R2 in some hours. Oh, that's I love my A7R2. Amazing camera. Like I said, I don't think I'll be upgrading to the new R version anytime soon, because I'm really happy with what that gives me. And I'm happy with the file size that gives me. It's starting to scroll pretty quickly, so let's just see what some are saying. Richard has said, get used to it. We'll start behaving like Canon at some point. I'm not sure what that means, Richard. Let me know what you mean by that. Victor said, is this just for video, or can it be used for photography as well? Well, I suppose you could use it for photography, but I wouldn't be using it for photography. The thing with these is it's more for pulling focus, checking focus, and checking your color and things like that, which you don't really need to do in photography. So I wouldn't be using this on a photography camera. I'd only be using this on a video camera. But you could, but I wouldn't. Ian DeBrown said, was one day away from getting the A7R2 till that one camera guy scared me off yesterday. I think the A7R2 is going to be relevant for the next 3 years. I honestly don't think that I would hesitate buying one. The dynamic range is amazing. The file size is amazing. The focus is obviously, it's not an A9 level, but it's good enough. So like I said, I'm still really happy with mine, and I wouldn't sell that. the next camera I get, I'll probably replace the A6500. I'll keep that, but I'll get whatever version of that is that they actually produce. That's probably the way that I'll go, because I found the A6500, honestly, is just an amazing all-round camera, and I certainly wouldn't be buying the A7S. I'd be using the A6500 over that camera any day now. Better focusing, low light is good enough. You can easily shoot 6400 ISO on the A6500, so unless you're shooting in pitch black, I wouldn't be getting the A7S. I'd just be using the A6500, but that's just me personally, the way that I tend to work. But I don't think I'll be upgrading my A7R, and I don't think R2, and I don't think I'll be upgrading my A7S. I'll just be staying with the A6500 and getting an A6700 whenever it comes out, or whatever they're going to be releasing, hopefully with a flip-out screen. Victor said, is this... I've already answered that. That one camera guy said, I'm wondering how bright the small focus screen is compared to the Sony A9. And that's going to be interesting. I don't know what nits the Sony A9 is. I'll let you know. Well, you'll know by Friday too how bright they actually are. I think it probably will be brighter, because I know everyone talks about the GH5 as being really, really bright. And from what I've seen on the net, this is way brighter than what the GH5 screen is. So we'll see. So Vic's going to bed. I don't blame you, Vic. That one camera guy said the Sony A9 screen stays bright when recording 4K. It does, yes. Yeah, it does. That's one good thing. And perhaps because it's a fraction bigger in the body, they haven't had to dim that down like they have with the Sony A7R2 or the A6500. The main thing too, though, is even though the A9 has got a good battery, having this battery and powering both if you're doing video is a game changer with those cameras, because, like I said, to have 2.5 hours of recording time, that's with that battery, and obviously you can put the larger batteries in if you want to, and you could probably run for 4 hours. Excuse me, is a big benefit of using these batteries. So having that dummy battery that you can put in, power off your video, your screen as well as your battery at the same time is a really, really big thing. So I reckon that's fantastic to be able to do that. Jim said, my wife calls me bastard after a camera purchase. It is not for a term of endearment. Well, if my wife says that too, if I've bought something, that's not a term of endearment either. She just won't talk to me. I'll just walk in the door and walk straight out the back door. I'm used to it. Oh, I love it. Let me scroll down to see any more. Has anyone heard of the Luxta-Link external recorder with your smartphone? No, I haven't heard of that. Tag the Shooter Photography said, yes, I love that too. One camera guy, damn, Amis Ninja 2 uses it. Amis Ninja 2 is useless in sunlight. And I think that's the problem even with mine too. My Ninja, the Shogun Ninja, is no good in sunlight either. It just doesn't work that well. But plus it's heavy. That's one of the issues with that. Lucid said, is this a sponsored item? Nope, I'm not sponsored by anyone, mate. Osler Images, David Osler is sponsored by no one, so it's not sponsored at all. I've purchased this for myself yesterday, like I've purchased everything else. I don't get any gear supplied to me. The only thing that I've actually had given to me at this stage is some backdrops that I used in a previous video, which I mentioned at the beginning. They didn't pay me to do it, they just sent the backdrops to me, but no, it's not sponsored at all. Now, what Lucid said, what made you purchase it over other brands? Well, there are other brands around. There's cheap brands. I mean, I've had cheap brands and I've sold them. The issue with the cheap brands, they're not light enough to use in daylight, and they just don't really have the features that I want. SmallHD have made they're a really, really high-end producer of these type monitors. This is their cheapest one, I think, but it's the first one that they've got with touchscreen and things like that. There's no video recorder on this either, but it is reasonably expensive. I mean, you're going to laugh, but this was $900 Australian for me, so it's expensive in Australia. I think it's around about $500-600 US. Let me know what you paid, Danny. I'll be curious. But yeah, It's a lot dearer here because of the exchange rate, obviously, and we always have the Australian tax built on it. You can buy a lot of cheaper monitors, but they're not touch screen. They don't have the features that this screen has, and the ones that I've had, the cheaper ones, you can't use in daylight. So it'll be interesting. They don't have this flip away working around either. So yeah, that's why I purchased that. But yeah, it's not sponsored at all. Lucid said all of these cameras will be relevant for the next 2 years. And I think that's true. You can keep shooting them. You don't have to change cameras. It's just if you're like me, you have gas and stuff, and it's hard not to sometimes. That one camera guy said photography, couldn't agree more about the Ninja 2. Yeah, you can't see it in daylight. That's the problem. I'm to Brown said it's amazing how men with no hair are so wise. I love it. That's because you've got no hair, isn't it? Keith said, wait to look for your pictures. Oh, yes, so he's looking at that. Let's have a look. I am to Brown said, I can barely use Facebook. To be an IT guy, I'm terrible on social media. And that's not very good if you're trying to push work, Tony. You need to be really pushing social media if you're doing that. Keith said, thank you. Jim said, yeah, Bailey, yes, at a minimum. That's obviously about one of the other questions. David said, you should be a sponsor, but then again, let them come to you and kiss your backside. The thing is, look, I probably would sponsor something if they asked me and I really did use it, but I never want to let you guys down and be one of these reviewers that promote something for just because they've paid me to use it. And if ever I am sponsored by something, trust me, I will let you know at the beginning. But I would be saying to the sponsors of me that I'm going to give an honest review, and if you don't like it, that's tough luck. Because to me, you have to be honest with people, and a lot of reviewers out there particularly are being given stuff and then reviewing it, and they haven't purchased it and it's not really for them. Like, it's okay to hire something and then just review it, but you have to be honest about that. Like, I know Danny does stacks of that, but he's always honest. He's showing that he gets it from Lens Rentals, things like that. So he's upfront about it. But I'm sure there's other reviewers out there that are paid to sponsor something, and then it becomes a little bit unethical, and I never want to do that to you guys. So I'll always be totally honest to you guys. And like I said, at this stage, I'm not sponsored by anyone. I'm even asked to sponsor to work with venues for my wedding photography, and I usually refuse that as well, because if they want me to work for them rather than the couple, I say no. So for me, it's really, really important that I'm ethical in every single thing that I do. So I'd always tell you if I am sponsored by someone, and even then it would still be an honest review. If I didn't like it, I'd tell you. What else have people said here? Keith said, don't all wives say bastard after men buy our toys. Keith said, David, you should sponsor, but then again, let them come to you. I've said that already. I'm around $5. Thanks, mate. He just donated $5 to me. I've still got a bit of this cough. Thank you. I really appreciate that. I'm Brand said, sponsored by the bald heads. Oh, you guys. Wait till I start drinking. I'll be firing back at you. Jim said, Bailey, don't all wives say bastard after when we buy our tools at a minimum. So Lucid said $600 US, is it? Yeah, so we're paying $300 extra, believe it or not, just for the Australian tax. It's ridiculous. Honestly. It drives me nuts. I would speculate... so that one camera guy said, yeah, it's about $500 to $600 depending on the package you get. Yeah, make sure if you do buy this, guys, get the one that is this kit. Make sure that you get the one that shows a kit like that. Which way is it? That way. Because... to get the battery itself, even just the battery alone is $100 roughly. So you're getting the battery, plus you're getting this amazing little charger that you can run your camera off it as well. So make sure, because I did order, like I said, I ordered the Sony version of this today, and I think this was US about $60. And then these cables are something like $20 each. It ends up being the same money, or you probably save money by getting the whole kit together. So I'd definitely be getting the kit. Did you get the Sony kit, Danny? Just let me know. Richard said, I would speculate Sony will release an A9R in 12 months. Or or so. If sales are still very strong for A9, it will get pushed further down the road. Yeah, I don't think any cameras are going to be released this year, that's for sure. I think the A7 III may be announced later this year, but I don't think it'll be released until next year sometime. So it's still a while away, I think, yet. And if you notice too, rumours have gone very quiet about them. So I still think we're a fair way away yet. And I think you're probably right. I think surely the next version, and I think before an A9R comes out, I think you'll probably find they'll release something to replace the A7S II. They have to have a camera that's going to compete with the GH5, I think. So that's clearly got to be looked at. I think Sony have to release something that has 4K 60p released. And I wouldn't be surprised if the A7S III or whatever they're going to call it, A9S, has potentially, it may have raw video as well, but we'll have to wait and see. But that could be the camera where they have it with the flip-out screen. So we'll have to wait and see on that one. But again, you're going to be paying a bit more than what the A9 is for that camera, so it's not going to be cheap. But I think that'll be the next video camera that's going to come out for Sony. Lucid said, Jesus Christ, you guys are making rap music videos. I'm not sure what that means. Victor said, what do you think of the Evol dual power twin head? I haven't used that. So if anyone else in the chat has used that, let some of us know. Keith said, Thursday is the day I turn 37. Oh! Danny said, yeah, I went for the kit. That'd be the Sony kit, obviously. Yeah, that's the hard one. The Sony kit is really hard to get. It's out everywhere here in Australia, and that's obviously because, like I said, the main downfall with the Sony cameras is the articulating screen. It will not flip out. That's why I think everyone's jumping the gun and buying the Sony version of this. You can't even buy there's a version of this that comes out without any of the attachments. You can't even buy that either, because I think all the Sony users are jumping right on that. Ben said, you should sponsor me, Dave. Oh, I love you guys, honestly. All right, guys, well, we might leave it there for the day now. So if you have any questions, leave them down below, because I'd love you to have a chat about this. And like I said, once I get it up and running, I believe this takes quite a bit to get up and running and learn it. So I'll spend the next couple of days using it, and I might talk about it in my live show that we have on Thursday. So I'll let you know how we go with that. But yeah, I'm looking forward to using this now. I'll have a play around with it for the rest of the day. I'm just about to go out for a coffee in a minute, my morning coffee. But let me know what you think. Let me know if you think you'd like to do this. I don't think the weight of this is going to be an issue at all. This is actually a lot lighter than what I actually thought it would be. Like, after I'm used to that Shogun, this is ridiculously light. So I don't think light is going to be, the weight is going to be a problem. And I'm looking forward to keeping it on and having a nice monitor to look at. Especially for doing manual focus and stuff, because I'm really enjoying the manual focus, which I even tended to do with my Sony gear as well. I still use manual focus when I was doing video, even though the A6500 is very good. I'd usually do manual focus apart from when I was running on a gimbal. So this is really going to help that manual focusing as well, because the peaking on this is really, really good. Richard said, David, I'm going to a workshop with David Fraser from LA this weekend in Trinidad and Tobago in the Caribbean. Oh, that'd be fantastic. Yeah, if any of you guys ever come to Australia, let me know and we'll go out for a shoot somewhere around Melbourne. You'd love it over here. Jim Photo said, David, thanks so much. Keith said, thank you. Got the live vid. I am DeBrown said, again, sorry for my still banter. Next time I should be more professional. I know you're a disgrace, Tony. Absolute disgrace. Can't believe you're having drinks when you're coming onto my live show. Well, we'll end it there, guys. So I'll probably put another video up tomorrow. I think one of my studio shoots. I'll put one of those up tomorrow. And obviously I'll have the live show on Thursday, your Thursday in the US. It's Friday here in Australia that we have another chat as well. So we might leave it there again, and I'll see you again soon for the next chat. And Danny, can't wait to see what you think of this when you get this as well. But bye, guys. Have a great day. I should say g'day from down under, and I'll see you again soon for the next video.